Senate Armed Services Committee member Mark Wayne Mullin joins me. Good evening, sir.
Hey, Greta, how you doing?
So you're going to have a vote tonight.
Yes.
I anticipate that it's going to pass. I mean, it was basically passed, I think, in February, the first time before it went over to the House.
It'll pass with bipartisan support. I'm going to be curious how many senators move over. We had, I think, 17 Republicans, 2 Democrats, total of 19 senators voted no on the procedure to move it onto the floor. So I bet some of those votes change when it goes to final passage. And this is what a lot of people don't realize. We call it the National Security Bill. Those that oppose it, they call it the Ukrainian bill. But 75% of the bill, the total funding, stays inside the United States. That's what a lot of people don't realize, that this goes to our defense industry. This goes to replenishing our munitions.
Well, that's because we gave it away. Though. I mean,
right.
it's not so wildly. I mean, it does indirectly go to them.
But keep in mind, we didn't just give it away. They purchased it from us. So it's this crazy way that we do math. So we'll give money for foreign aid to buy purchasing agreements of American-made weapons back inside the United States. That's with the weapon systems. With our munitions, most of the munitions that were given to them, they were due to expire. So, for instance,
they didn't have much of a shelf life.
You're right. Well, they don't. You have to expend those shells at some time. In McAlester, Oklahoma, which is where we have a large munition depot, at 11 o'clock every single day, you'll start hearing explosions because the expired munitions they have to discharge. Well, that's what we were sending to Ukraine, but still, yet that's part of the stockpile, so we have to replenish it. So why I do feel like we have a federal obligation to Ukraine, because the Budapest Memorandum, at the same time, people have to understand that 75% of this bill is re-upping our life's
that we would dump anyway.
Right.
That we would dump anyway.
Yes.
All right. You know, I've been to Ukraine a couple of times, and I've covered all these wars, and it's such a tough decision. Tough line to where to draw between our border, the Ukraine border, Gaza. I mean, I've been to all these wars. But it always comes back to me as like the controversy within the country right now among the American citizens. Americans are, they're smart, they're practical, they're common sense, they're generous, they're concerned about national security, but they have a disagreement with this, and I do lay the fault on members of the House, the Senate, and the President, because no one's communicating really effectively to them why this is important.
I agree. That is 100% our fault. We've allowed it to become political, and it shouldn't become political. We should start with the fact that we gave our word to Ukraine in 1994, December of 1994, when we signed the Budapest Memorandum. We said that if you'll give up your nuclear weapons, which, remember, Greta, at the time, that was the second largest nuclear arsenal in the world. Ukraine had it, only second to us. We said if you'll give up your nuclear weapons, the United States will back you in the case that you're invaded, specifically from Russia. Ukrainians said, hey, we would rather have the mighty power of the United States behind us than nuclear weapons. Now, does anybody think for a second Russia would be invading Ukraine today if Ukraine still had that nuclear arsenal? No.
The other little problem is, and I think you have to factor in all of history in this, is that Libya, Gaddafi did give up his nuclear program, and then he ended up dead. So it does. The American word, is. I don't think
it's not what it used to be.
Well, and the thing is, but then, it's like, we have to keep our word, but we also have to communicate to the American people, because American people, I go back to things, we're very proud, we want to keep our word. But, I think that when the American people, when you speak to the American people, when you lay out the cards, I think everyone pretty much ends up on the same page.
I think if education is key, so there's going to be always the outlier. So there's going to be 20% of the people that's going to disagree with you no matter what you say. But if you actually take the time to inform the American people why this is important to us, like Ukraine, not understanding why is Russia invading Ukraine? It's not just because territory.
Well, they did in 2014 in Crimea. This is just stage 2. If you go to Ukraine, they'll talk about that.
Absolutely. But why are they doing it? Why are they doing it? Because the second largest natural gas deposit in all of Europe is stationed in Ukraine. Why are they doing it? Because the rare earth minerals that Ukraine has is arguably the largest deposit in the world, worth $1.2 to $3 trillion. The only people that have more rare earth minerals than that is China.
All right, one quick question. Yeah. Part of the bill that came over from the House is that part of it that can be is a loan. It can be forgiven.
All of it can be.
Well, some of it goes to weapons to replenish.
Right.
But the fact that, I think the loan thing probably would be is attractive to many Americans.
Keep in mind that was President Donald Trump did that. So President Donald Trump sent out a post on Truth Social, and he said we should do it in a loan that's generous and only get paid back if they strike rich or they turn their back on the United States with no interest or no payment terms. As soon as he sent that out, I called President Trump and said, are you serious about this? We went to work working with President Trump. The Lend-Lease, the Land Act, and the Repo Act was all because President Trump weighed in on it. And we spent weeks, Lindsey Graham, myself, and a few other House members all worked with President Trump to get this language in there. And I don't think President Trump's getting enough credit for what he did, because it's very important that the Lend-Lease actually allows him in future conflicts around the world, rather than us just giving countries money, we're able to loan it to them from now. Because if Biden's office did it, then Trump can do it too. And we did this in 1941 with Great Britain, and Great Britain actually paid us back in 2006.
Well, it's interesting what he's doing from outside of office. Anyway, Senator, nice to see you, sir. Hope you come back.
Thank you, Greta.
Thank you.